Hello, my name is Frank Burnett. I'm a board member here at OroNaz. I'm also head of the food ministry, and I volunteer for the hospitality team as a greeter. However, today it is my joy and honor to bring you this week's Refresh. I'd like to bring you a story this week out of the book of Mark, chapter 5, verse 1, where Jesus is restoring a demon-possessed man. They went across the lake to the region of Gerasenes, where when Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him any more, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills he would cry out and cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name I'm begging, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. In the book of Luke it says, into the abyss. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside, and the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead and beg with Jesus to leave their region. As Jesus was going into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus did not let him, but said, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. There's a few things I want to bring out in this story that I find quite important and quite amazing. First of all, the demons recognized Jesus as to who he was, and this happens throughout the Gospels. They called him by the correct title of Son of the Most High God, and then they began to beg him. 3 times they begged him for a favor. Imagine, demons begging Jesus for a favor. The first time, they said, "Don't torture us. Don't torture me," the man said. The second time, they begged him repeatedly, over and over, not to order them to go into the abyss or out of the area. And the third time, they begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs. Incredibly, Jesus answers their request. He did not torture them. He did not send them out of the area or into the abyss, and he allowed them to go into the pigs. The result of this has 2 different things that I want to talk about. The first, somebody lost their livelihood that day. Think about it. A herd of pigs, 2,000 pigs, that's not some small farmer. That's somebody that is growing pigs for the market. That is somebody whose livelihood was those pigs, and he just lost all of his produce into the lake. They ran down the steep hill and they drowned. Imagine how upset that guy must have been. Also, if you think about it, the local people lost their supply of pork. That's right. This guy was probably supplying the Decapolis with pork. Where were these people supposed to go now to get their pork chops and bacon? They had to go somewhere else, not there. So they were afraid. I mean, if Jesus could do this kind of damage to just one guy, one area, imagine what he could do to the whole community. Where else could they get this kind? What else could Jesus do? So they said to Jesus, "You got to go." They begged him to get out of there. Jesus did. Now, the other part of this, the results of this story, is the young man who was possessed by the legion of demons. We never did get his name. Actually, we don't know if he was a young man or an old man. But we do know that when the crowd showed up, he was dressed and in his right mind. And he begged to go with Jesus. Jesus had just done a complete and total miracle in him. Jesus had just changed his life. He wanted to go somewhere where he wasn't kept in chains the whole time, where he was being abused, and he didn't want to live next to 2,000 pigs. However, incredibly as it sounds, Jesus said no to this request. He told the man to return home. Tell people how much God has done for you. Tell them about his mercy. Legion did this, and he went into the Decapolis. Now, Decapolis refers to a region of 10 cities. That's 10 cities that this young man or this man went into to tell his story. One of those cities was mentioned in Mark 6, the next chapter, when Jesus went to visit again. Mark 6, 53 through 56. When they had crossed over, they landed in Gennesaret and another anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran through the whole region and carried the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into the villages, into the towns or the countryside, they placed the sick in the marketplace. And they begged him to let them touch even the edge of his cloak, and all that who were touched were healed. How do you suppose these people knew to bring Jesus, the sick people in that area? How do you suppose they knew that Jesus would heal? Because of that man that was possessed by a legion of demons. He did what Jesus said. He went and told his story. First to his family, then probably to his town, and then he went around to the other towns, to the whole region, telling his story. One man made a difference. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Last Sunday, if you made it to church, Chung Yam told his testimony. And as a part of that testimony, he gave us the words to the song, "This is my story, this is my song." And that's what I'm here today, is to tell you, you have a story. You have a song that you can sing. If Jesus has touched your life, if God has done a miracle in your life, you have a story and you need to tell it. I have a story. I need to tell people. You have a story. You need to tell people. This story of the demon-possessed man is an example of one man can make a difference. One woman can make a difference. You can make a difference. If you have a story, you need to go out and tell that story. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you have a great day.